The city lights flicker, then fade. Darkness engulfs the skyline. A deafening silence follows. In an instant, our world changes. We've become so accustomed to the hum of electricity, the glow of screens, the constant connectivity. But what happens when it all goes dark? The next crisis may not come from a virus. It may come from a wire. Our global infrastructure stands on a knife's edge. We've built a world that relies on an intricate web of digital networks, energy grids, and orbiting satellites. It's a marvel of human ingenuity, but also our greatest vulnerability. Cyberattacks are no longer the stuff of science fiction. They're here, and they're escalating. Pipelines shut down. Hospitals, transport systems grinding to a halt. These aren't hypothetical scenarios. They're headlines we've already seen. But what if these attacks are just a prelude, a test run for something far more catastrophic? The World Economic Forum has been running simulations, wargaming a scenario they've dubbed the cyber pandemic. Klaus Schwab, the WEF's founder, paints a chilling picture. A cyberattack could bring a complete halt to power supply, transportation, hospital services. Imagine it! No electricity. No internet. No phones. No way to access your money, your medical records, your identity. Society as we know it, frozen in an instant. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. What if this looming catastrophe isn't just a threat, but an opportunity? Blackouts reset more than power. They reset control. There's a theory gaining traction among skeptics and They argue that a large-scale digital collapse could be used to justify sweeping changes to our systems. New, stricter cybersecurity measures. Mandatory digital ID. The rollout of government-controlled digital currencies. In the chaos of a blackout, who would resist? History offers us some unsettling precedents. The 2003 Northeast blackout plunged 50 million people into darkness. Ukraine's power grid has been under a cyberattack for years. Each time, we see the same pattern. Chaos first, then a push for greater centralization and control. The promise, of course, is always the same. Stronger systems, better security, protection from the next attack. But at what cost? Darkness is the perfect cover for redesigning the system. Critics warn that a global blackout could be the perfect smokescreen to switch off dissent, to reset financial structures, to redraw political boundaries, to rewrite the social contract while we're fumbling in the dark. Think about it. In a world without power, without communication, who holds the cards? Those with generators, satellite phones, and stockpiles of resources. Those who can turn the lights back on. We're told to prepare for cyber pandemics, to brace for impact. But are we asking the right questions? What happens when the power grid itself becomes a weapon? Who benefits if the world goes dark? And when the lights come back on, who controls the switch? The images are stark. Empty shelves in supermarkets, gridlocked streets as traffic lights fail. Hospitals struggling to keep life support systems running on dwindling backup power. This isn't fear-mongering, it's a wake-up call. Our world is more connected than ever before. But that connectivity comes with a price. Every smart device, every digital transaction, every online interaction, they're all potential points of failure. Or points of control. The cyber threats we face are evolving faster than our defenses. State-sponsored hackers, criminal syndicates, lone wolf attackers. They're all probing for weaknesses, and they're finding them. Critical infrastructure is no longer just about power plants and water supplies. It's about the software that runs our lives. The algorithms that govern our economies. The data centers that hold our identities. A targeted attack could bring it all crashing down. But here's the question that keeps security experts up at night. What if the biggest threat is UNT from outside hackers, but from those tasked with protecting us? The lines between security and surveillance are blurring. In the name of protection, we're being asked to surrender more of our privacy, more of our autonomy. Each crisis pushes us further down this path. A cyber pandemic could be the tipping point. Imagine a world where access to basic services requires a government-issued digital ID, where your movements, your purchases, your communications are all tracked and analyzed in real time, where dissent can be silenced with the flick of a switch. It sounds like dystopian fiction, but the technology already exists. The infrastructure is being built. All it needs is the right crisis to justify its implementation. And that's why the warnings about cyber pandemics are so chilling. They're not just about the threat of attack. They're about what comes after. In the aftermath of a blackout, in the scramble to restore order, how much would we be willing to give up? How much control would we cede in exchange for the promise of security? The 2003 Northeast blackout lasted only a few days, but it exposed how fragile our systems really are. How quickly society can unravel when the lights go out. Ukraine's ongoing battle against cyberattacks on its power grid is a glimpse into the future of warfare. It's not about bombs and bullets anymore. It's about bits and bytes. These incidents are more than just cautionary tales. They're dress rehearsals for something bigger. The World Economic Forum's cyber pandemic scenarios aren't idle speculation. They're blueprints. Plans for how to manage and perhaps exploit a global digital meltdown. We're told it's all about resilience. About building back better. But who decides what better looks like? In the darkness of a blackout, old structures can be dismantled. New ones erected in their place. By the time the power comes back on, the world we knew might be gone. This isn't a call for panic. It's a call for vigilance. We need to ask hard questions about the systems we rely on. About the powers we entrust to protect us. About the future we're sleepwalking into. Because the next reset might not be a choice. It might be thrust upon us in the blink of an eye, in the flicker of a dying power grid. The city lights may go out, but we can't let our critical thinking go dark with them. As we stare into the abyss of a potential cyber pandemic, we must remember the greatest threat isn't the darkness itself. It's what, or who, might be waiting to emerge when the lights come back on. The screen fades to black. A single line of white text appears. Who turns the lights back on? It's not just a question. It's a challenge. To stay awake, to stay alert, to remember that in the digital age, power isn't just about electricity. It's about control. And in the next blackout, that control might be up for grabs.